Who was the dumbest person you ever met? How did you know? Please subscribe, like and leave a comment. Much love to you all. My coworker was feeling lethargic, bloated, and had stopped menstruating. We told her she was probably pregnant. She decided on her own that she was anemic and started eating a dozen raw eggs every day. She had a full-term baby 5 months later. A dozen raw eggs. Did she give birth to Gaston? My former boss was worried that the island of Manhattan would sink with all the extra visitors for New Year's and the ball dropping. She thought islands floated, and when she found out that wasn't true, she thought it was so funny that she told everyone the story. She was later fired for withholding a pay raise from someone on her team because he didn't accept her sexual advances. He had the texts to prove it. I was working retail at the time, and this lady walks in and asks me to tell her when it is 10:15 a.m. she needs to catch a bus. We were slow, so I oblige. 10:15 a.m. rolls around, and I tell her, so she drops her stuff and runs out to get the bus. 5 minutes later she comes back, it's scowling, and she then lectures me on how to tell time. How much is a quarter? 25 cents. So why would you tell me a quarter after 10 a is 10:15 a? It's 10:25 a.m. Tell her that her bus is late today. It will be in at $3 to 11. I asked a temp at work to weigh a couple of lever arch files for postage. She came back and told me they were 65 kilograms. I asked if it were possible that it was 6.5 kilograms, but she insisted it wasn't. We argued about it for a good 5 minutes. It wasn't until I asked her how much she weighed, 59 kilograms, that it finally twigged that these two small folders couldn't possibly weigh more than her. Bold move asking her how much she weighs. Pure frustration. One time my now ex-girlfriend was watching Maury Povich, one of those paternity test episodes with the classic "you are not the father" moment, and she turns to me and says, if we ever have a baby and I found out I'm not the mother, I'll kill you. Thankfully we didn't end up reproducing. You just randomly bring home a baby. Congratulations, dear. We've had a child. Don't worry, it's yours, honey. Few years ago in Australia, Coke changed their bottle to be a bit narrower and taller to suit less plastic. Both bottles were 600 milliliters. Girl in my class at uni adamant that the change wasn't to reduce plastic, but so they could put less Coke in to save money. I know they are both 600 milliliters, but the new one has less Coke in it. People like this are the reason why companies have to stoop to ridiculous lows in order to cater to the biggest morons out there. Didn't a fast food company have to discontinue a 1/3 pound burger because people thought the 1/4 pound was bigger and therefore the 1/3 pounder shouldn't have been more expensive? Something like that. I'm probably remembering it wrong. I remember a guy I knew in middle school who put money into a vending machine and then his item didn't come out. Then he put more money into the machine and 2 of the item he wanted came out. He then exclaimed, alright, 2 for 1. Man, I remember a guy in middle school who would put money in the vending machine and then sell the item for less money because he thought that's what making a profit was. He had just purchased a new high-powered BB gun. We had just finished shooting it in the backyard when he points the barrel at my face and pulls the trigger several times. I tell him to stop being an idiot and he just laughs and says it's not loaded. Then the moron puts the barrel in his mouth and pop shoots a BB right through his tongue and into his uvula. Edit for those asking why it shot him and not me. I was sitting down, so the end of the barrel was at a downward angle. When Genius shot himself, the barrel was at an upward angle, causing the last BB to roll down to the back of the ammo tube and into the chamber. Oh, so it's a girl mouth. Now that's a reference. I had a boss who told me that she never kept leftovers from a meal because that's how polio got started. All that pre-cooked food in the supermarket, it's all polio. White girl didn't think she could get pregnant because the guy was Mexican. Swear on my life. A girl in my class in middle school genuinely thought people had landed on the sun. Her explanation for this belief was to insist that the moon and sun are made of the same stuff. Well, yeah. Protons, neutrons, and electrons. You can build a lot of wacky shit with that, though. Protons, neutrons, electrons, and morons apparently. A friend of mine is a sweet guy, but is overweight and balding and quite frankly, not very attractive in the face. Well, one day he lets us know that he has met a girl and she might be the one. He's in his late 20s for reference. Well, I've met some of the jewels he's hooked up with in the past, so I wasn't expecting too much. Finally meet this girl, and she is drop dead gorgeous, and has a body that is incredible. I talked to her for a while, and she is super friendly and outgoing. I'm stoked for my boy. He found the best he's ever gonna find. Anyway, the night progresses, and the new couple starts talking about their plans for an upcoming trip to New Mexico, and she starts telling us how excited she is, because she has never gone to another country before. I laughed a bit, and realized she was dead serious. My friend just looked at me, and shook his head, and I knew that he knew. She was dumb as a fucking rock, but she was his dumb fucking rock. FWIW. He helped her get her passport. Did they stay together? I need to know. Yes, married now and breeding. A girl in my sophomore year of high school who thought there were 6 months in a year. She was really nice, but very surprised and confused when we tried to set her right. How did she get to high school without someone setting her straight? Well, you see, she got there in half the time. Half of my science class thought that the International Space Station was just some building on the ground. Ah yes, the International Land Station. I have geography in 3rd period and this kid thinks there's 2 Floridas. Florida. Florida. It checks out. A guy at a job site said this to me in all seriousness, I'm quoting. If Hitler had put all the Jews on the Titanic he coulda saved himself a lot of trouble. I felt like I had a stroke. I know a guy who thinks the specialty he drinks negates the negative health effects of his pack-a-day smoking habit. What's this specialty? I think might have smoked 1 pack too many. A girl in my art class in high school thought there was just a part of the cow called meat. When we explained meat is the muscles she freaked out and became vegetarian. My best friend had a foods teacher who thought the same thing. Summarily, you had to cook the outside of the meat, because that's where the germs, specifically E. coli, were. Edit. This is true. Please keep reading. When my friend commented that parasites could be also present in the muscle tissue, the teacher claimed we don't eat muscle tissue. Too dumbfounded to ask a counter question, we will forever wonder what she thought we ate. A girl at my high school didn't know you could get pregnant from cum. So, she learned that when she got pregnant. Please tell me she didn't. Unfortunately that's exactly what happened. But how? She wasn't wearing a bathing suit, or giving him a hickey, or married or anything. They held hands. That's why I only fuck before marriage. They thought dinosaurs were fictional. I knew a grown woman who thought that dinosaurs never existed, are a hoax that is being perpetuated through time by scientists trying to be in on the joke. Her main argument for this point, if dinosaur bones are real, tell me why it's only ever a paleontologist that keeps finding the bones. HMN. Not a whole lot of part-time retail employees finding dinosaur bones in their spare time. Well, that proves it. I had a guy at work tell me that Benjamin Franklin was the 100th president because he's on the $100 bill. I mean, we are only on the 45th, so he could be right one day. In another 200 years a kid may well be named Ben Franklin unironically. My first ever girlfriend thought you had to study for an STD test. She was really pretty. Did you guys enjoy New Mexico? Okay, now this made me laugh out loud. Yes we did. My ex-sister-in-law is hands down the dumbest person I've ever encountered. There's literally a plethora of fucking insanely stupid things she said over the years, but I'll use the one that almost made me slap the taste out of her mouth. I had my first son back in 2001, and while I was pregnant she asked me if I was going to breastfeed, to which I replied that I was. She then asked, even if it's a girl? And I said of course. She then proceeded to tell me that it's perfectly fine to breastfeed boys, but doing so with girls is creepy and could make the child a lesbian, because they get the feel of a breast and will remember it and want that sexually. To say that I was stunned by her thought process is an understatement. I asked her what she thought people did before formula was invented, and she said cow's milk. And before bottles were invented it was a rag soaked in cow's milk. Side note, she had 3 daughters and wouldn't allow her husband to change their diapers or bathe them. Had a girl tell me she was scared to give her black boyfriend a blowjob because I don't know if his cum would be white or black. That was definitely the moment I knew. Please take moments like this to educate people. This Asian dude literally thought, since I was black, belts don't work for me, and I was doomed to sag for my entire life. Like, no Mr. Tran, I just left it at home, you see me wear one every fucking day. Like UTF is telling people that we are aliens or something. Lol. Girl in my class asked the professor if other countries have moons too. My best friend asked me this when I moved to Europe. She asked if I could see the moon there, or if it only existed for the USA. When I moved from Europe to the U.S, I was asked, do you guys have television? This was in 2005. Edit. The rest of the conversation went no, the castles don't have electricity to plug a TV into. I thought she was kidding, so I was joking back. She replied, oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.